Why we get into this, you need or want or whatever,
and then to get that message,
and to get wait, and so it bothered me for a minute, and then I started laughing because it's hilarious.
It is hilarious.
And then I decided to come on the air with Steve Scott.
Oh no!
And do this.
Make it 40 degrees in Midtown now. Craig Allen says a few snow showers, maybe a coating of an inch or two overnight. His 5-day forecast in 3 minutes.
At 880 on your AM dial and live on your computer at WCBS880.com. When you need to know, we've got you covered.
Good evening, I'm Steve Scott.
I'm Wayne Cabot.
Wayne Cabot. Enough already.
One man's opinion. Good to have you here. Coming up on WCBS.
I think that's your legacy. What can I do to make this worse?
Yeah, but the thing is, the guy got his wish.
Yeah.
He got his wish. You win.
You're such an icon, though, for this radio station. Are you going to sign us off on Sunday night?
As a matter of fact, I am. So it's not enough already. You're going to have one more dose of me at sometime, I guess, about a quarter before midnight, Sunday into Monday. I can't tell you. I'm probably going to cry just now thinking about it. But I've been entrusted, which is their mistake. I've been entrusted as the guy who's going to sign the radio station off, who's going to wrap it up after 100 years. 100 years.
Right.
Since 1924. And then at midnight, we wrap things up Sunday into Monday, and I'll be the guy giving out the last legal ID, and I'm going to have to record it because I know I can't get through it. But I got a couple of things I want to say, Paul.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be happy to know that no one's going to hear it. It's going to be the middle of the night. So you won't have to hear it. But
a text from Wayne. He has something to say.
I got something to say, and I'm going to say it.
I'll be seeing those next week.
Speaking of something to say, Paul.
Yeah.
I got a note here from a guy named Nat Rosen,
right,
who said, and I'm quoting here, I often wondered how you even got away with some of the things you said. But each time you'd show up on the air the next day. So I guess the bosses, quote, and sponsors could find it in their hearts to forgive you when you said things. And then he gives me specifics. After a commercial for the bacon-wrapped double bacon burger, you said, McDonald's is just giving out heart attacks. Following a story about recreational marijuana, you said, I held that hit in for the entire length of the story. And I also said, doing a little history thing, on this date in 1902, Levi Strauss died. He had no children, leaving no one to pass his genes to.
And I've learned over the years, if somebody said there was something outrageous I heard on the radio, I said, oh, that was Cabot. I would say that's the way anyone working with Wayne should learn that phrase first.
Yeah, and you know what else people loved? The music, because we all connect on music.
Yeah.
I mean, Bridget, you had Jimmy Fink on yesterday. Can you Bridget, get on the mic for a second here, because
one of our radio heroes was on with Bridget.
We always wanted to be rock and roll disc jockeys, never quite made it to FM, except for a joke. The rest of us have been on AM radio, and you had a chance to talk to our hero from WPLJ and now the Peak, Jimmy Fink, and we loved Jimmy.
We loved Jimmy, and he said that they kind of gave him the keys to the radio station and said, do free-form radio. And I said, Jimmy, you're the one. Like, whoever hears that anymore in radio? But something you always did so well was incorporating music into those 88, quote-unquote 88 seconds of sound. I mean, those are masterpieces, Wayne. And, what can I say? And you too? You've been playing the clips of the great anchor teams. You're the great anchor team. Listening to you driving in, the hour and a half drive would go by like that. Never knew what you were going to say. Always knew I'd get the news I needed to know to prep. But the way you just back and forth, it is seamless. And you hit all your time marks too. I mean, today not maybe, but that's fine.
Today was the miracle.
Yeah, today didn't matter. But no, but really, you guys are among the great teams here.
Thank you.
Bridget, we learned this listening to you and Jim and you and Jeff. We've listened, that we learned listening from you guys and all of our radio predecessors in this chair, right?
You are fantastic.
We got to co-anchor together a few times when Jerry Garcia died.
Yes, and do you remember the time we killed off Eddie Vedder by mistake? We were
shouldn't laugh.
We were trying to be, we thought we were so young and so hip and knowledgeable about music, and that was when grunge was just hitting it, or at least we were just paying attention to it. And the one cryptic line came across the AP and said, the lead singer of Nirvana is dead.
Right.
And I turned to you, I said, this is off the air. I said, is that Eddie Vedder? And you said, maybe, I think so.
Yeah,
so
that sounds good.
Confidently declared that Eddie Vedder was dead. He was not, still is not. And by
we didn't have Google then, in our defense.
We didn't have Google, but what amazed me was the phones lit up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Our listeners knew. Our listeners knew, and our listeners always knew.
Oh, they always know more than we do, you know. And one of the things that was very nice to hear is that you and I wouldn't varnish over what was the term, the rare mistakes someone said, and we would talk about, oh, sorry, what is this? Somebody said they remember saying frequently, what does this button do? And yeah, that's what it's like in here.
Well, Chris Quimby, who just walked in. Chris, can you come on the mic? And Rob, we got to get you too.
Yeah.
Speaking of mistakes, no, hold on, I didn't say that right. If we made a mistake, I remember Chris Quimby, you were our manager a few years back, and wow, it's so good to see you, and you haven't aged a day somehow.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
But you know that you encouraged us to go with those random moments. You said that the mistakes make you sound human, just don't do them too often.
I've always felt on that point for a news anchor is you can make a mistake, it's how you recover from it that matters. Yeah, but once again, you make them too often. Not a good thing.
You were so supportive. All you guys have been so supportive, and women too. In fact, you were the only woman to you were. How many women ran news stations in the United States of America?
Well, not many. There were some before me. Kara Brashears out in Los Angeles.
Okay.
I was a news director. I don't know if she was a program director.
I'm sure some sense.
Yeah, there weren't that many, but you know, I just never thought of that.
We never thought of it that way either, because you immediately took command and had respect, and it wasn't a matter of, they need to hire a woman or any kind of, you hear the talk today, the chatter going on, and it's repulsive in my opinion, but that was never a thought. You were always accepted.
Well, at WCBS 880, I've had a very long career, and I just take this moment to say this was the pinnacle of my career. I was only here for 5 years. The best 5 years of my life, and I love each and every one of you people.
Oh, Chris, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for the memories.
Then there's Rob Sanchez. Then there's you used the word earlier, reprobate? Well, here's the reprobate Rob Sanchez.
Is the profanity delay ramped up?
I got the dump button right over
here. Okay, good. Okay.
You were so much fun to work with and work for, Rob, because you were real, and I don't think you're from New York, but you might as well be from New York.
Yeah, it's been about 15 years here.
Yeah, but I mean, you got New York in your blood because you got that acerbic attitude that a newsroom needs, and we loved it.
Well, thank you. I don't know what to say, so I'm going to shut up for once in my life.
Wow. Yeah, we are getting to that time.
I know.
This is winding down, and it's we have a lump in our throat. But you know what we feel, and this is true. We feel such gratitude to have been a part of this place, and such respect for its tradition and for the listeners, and to ask someone to spend time with a radio station, or to be a reporter and say, "Can I talk to you about a story?" I mean, that's remarkable that people would give their time in 2024, and I think that feeds into the feeling of gratitude, which is the overwhelming emotion that I have sitting here right now, I have to say.
Gratitude. Absolutely. It is such a privilege and a pleasure, and literally a pleasure. I mean, can I be honest with you? When and you know, at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, it's not fun. It's never fun. Driving in here. This morning when I had a nail through my tire, and had to put air in my tire at 2 in the morning, that's not fun.
I had a car
go by
here.
It's great.
I had a car go by me on the West Side Highway going about 100 miles an hour. Almost clipped my bumper, and I thought, well, I won't have to put up with that anymore. Unless some lucrative radio gig comes through. I'm just saying.
All right, wow. Okay. I I know we're getting near the end here. Although, we're going to repeat this, and we've got some special programming that Dave Plotkin at WINS has put together because he's like a lot of people at WINS, they love WCBS.
So you're abandoning your plan to lock the studio door and keep going.
That's still a possibility, Paul, although that was only going to be if Bridget brought in that bottle, which she didn't. So it's kind of dry in here.
Foiled again.
Yeah. But Dave Plotkin put together a 2-hour retrospective of CBS going back to when we signed on in 1924.
We have audio, at least one audio clip from the 1920s in this wonderfully assembled WCBS, the station that became WCBS retrospective. Saturday morning at 8 o'clock, I understand, is the first airing for that. And I came in at 3:40 this morning, and Dave was still here. We recorded the tracks for that yesterday, and he came down at 3:40 in the morning. He said, it's all done. I said, have you been here since yesterday? He said, yes, which shows you the dedication that people in this business have, and to this radio station in particular.
Can we give a shout-out now to some of the people behind the scenes right now who have been through this very traumatic experience in the last week of learning that their jobs are going away.
Yeah.
Some people, like us, have been at this for a while, and it's a softer landing because we were nearing retirement. And through our union, SAG-AFTRA, we're going to be okay because of the very strong contract that they had.
Okay.
Its legacy.
Okay in one sense. I don't know.
Well, right. Financially, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Not set, but okay.
We've never not had jobs in 40-year radio careers. This is our first experience for... Well, no. You had that unpleasant Philadelphia experience, but that didn't last long.
Yeah. No, listen, I'm very aware that while we're having a party in here, it's tough for a lot of people out there in the newsroom. Some of the younger people are so bright, they're going to be fine. I mean that. They always hear that. You're going to be fine. No, really, you're going to be fine. You're bright. It's some of the mid-career people that are going to have to go out there and hunt for a new job now in a very difficult market.
If you see WCBS on a resume and you're in a news organization, it is the best investment you can make to bring in, because the people who are here are the best.
So listen up right now as we tell you who is working behind the scenes right now at WCBS 880.
This is tough because it's usually the last thing we do before we wrap up our shift. It's usually like, we're heading out the door. And literally in a certain way we are, aren't we, Wayne?
And here are the desk assistants who are working right now.
Sabrina Salovitz, Jamila Jello, Ashley Reed,
Michael Ardell,
Anthony Bosco,
Isanya Gonzalez, Alma Bouvet,
Jake Angelo,
Maggie Leon, Carla Marilyn.
We have the people that book the interviews you hear. We call them the bookers, and they work magic. Oliver Sampson.
Heather Ron.
We could only afford 2 of them.
And here are our writers.
Tanya Hansen.
Chris Rausch, Martin Untroib,
And our production director,
Tom Fenn.
Bill Tynan, our creative services director. We had that one. Bill Tynan.
You made sure he said his name. And our producers.
Julia Rush, Rivka Oppenheim,
Roseanne Brown,
Lisa T. Jerkovich.
You recognize that theme playing behind us.
Yeah, this is one of the favorite things that we do. We play things off air during Morning Drive, and the Steve Carmen News Is package is always one of our favorites. Will you call me next week and just play it down the phone line at me for old time's sake?
Listen, you can call Steve Carmen. He's still a friend of ours. He has been for a while there, he would call us and yell at us for playing this stuff because he wanted his money. But then we won him over, Paul, and he said, you know what, play it. Now, but Steve Carmen did all the jingles that were so popular in the 70s from, I Love New York to when you say Budweiser, you said it all. Nationwide is on your side. And this one, too. Wow.
Is WCBS 880 News. The congressman from Patterson, the man from Patterson, Bill Pasquale, died today at age 87. We'll look back at his 14-term congressional career and more. News today that even members of Congress aren't safe from big data breaches. We'll hear from Congressman Richie Torres. At Nassau Community College, they've got their cafeteria back. And Mayor Adams tries again to find more space for affordable housing. As you heard here on WCBS, the Mets beat Baltimore. Yanks are at home home tonight against Cleveland. I'm Ray Hoffman on WCBS and WCBS FM HD2, New York. It's 5 o'clock. This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Monica Ricks. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz will accept the vice presidential nomination tonight at the Democratic National Convention. CBS's Ed O'Keefe is in Chicago.
He has to introduce himself to this country. Well known in Minnesota, obviously. Democrats starting to get to know him. Expect a lot of conversation about his Nebraska upbringing, his geography teaching background. This is often the night where you could also see the running mate maybe level some attacks of his own on Donald Trump and J.D. Vance.
Vance doing some of that while campaigning in North Carolina today.
You see, Tim Walz says that he served in a war zone. And it turns out the closest he ever got to war is when he let rioters burn down the city of Minneapolis under his watch in the summer 2020. Remember that?
He was referring to protests following George Floyd's death. The southern half of the U.S. is feeling extreme heat today. Odyssey, New York meteorologist Craig Allen is tracking conditions.
Temperatures are going to be in the triple digits across many portions of Texas, across through New Mexico, Arizona, and Nevada. And this heat is going to expand a little bit more on up into the Central Plains as well as portions of the lower Rockies.
About 34 million Americans are under heat alerts right now. In Italy, divers recovered 5 more bodies from the wreckage of a luxury yacht. CBS's Vicki Barker.
An Italian fireboat turned into a ferry for the dead. This doctor treated the 15 who survived that night.
The word that all the Indians kept repeating was darkness. The darkness that they experienced during the shipwreck.
They told him the super yacht sank within 5 minutes of being hit by that sudden freak storm.
1 person was found earlier this week. 1 more is still missing. Vice President Harris jumped on a call earlier today between President Biden and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to push a ceasefire deal. More than 50 people have died in the last day in Gaza. And Ukraine targeted Russia in a drone attack.
Moscow experienced the largest drone attack since the fighting started in 2022. 45 in all, according to the Russian Ministry of Defense. Moscow claims it shot all of them down.
CBS's Ian Lee in Sumy, Ukraine. Who knew marriage could be good for men?
Love and marriage.
A 3-year study found that married men, or those who got married during the study, were twice as likely to age well compared to their never-married peers. Researchers defined optimal aging as freedom from any serious physical, cognitive, mental, or emotional issues that prevent daily activities, as well as high levels of happiness.
CBS's Allison Keyes. Opposite, though, for women. Single ladies age twice as well as widows or divorcees. The Dow added 55 points. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Everything you need to know every time you listen. This is WCBS 880 News.
Feels like fall out there tonight. We're going down into the 50s again after going down into the 40s in some suburbs, but beautiful weather over the next few days. High 75 tomorrow, high 80 on Friday, and no mention of humidity in the forecast, so how can you go wrong with that in the last couple of weeks of August? It's 5:03 on WCBS. Good to be with you. I'm Ray Hoffman. If anyone could be crowned Mr. Patterson, New Jersey, it would be Bill Pascrell, Jr. He was born in Patterson 87 years ago. He taught there, served on the Board of Education, the state legislature. He was mayor, and he represented Patterson and the rest of New Jersey's 9th District with much political passion for 14 terms. And he was running for his 15th when he died today in Cooperman Barnabas Hospital in Livingston. He had been out of the hospital and in and out for several times over the last few months. Governor Murphy, in a post on Twitter, called Pascrell a giant of New Jersey and a champion for our most vulnerable neighbors. And John Bresnahan, the founder of Punchbowl News, posted simply, R.I.P., such a great guy. It seems no one is immune to cyber hackers, not even congressmen, as Monica Guy reports from the Bronx.
The crime, a massive data breach at a company that does background checks. The victims, 2.9 million people whose social security numbers and personal information was stolen from national public data. The thieves, a gang of cyber thugs that go by the name USDOD, which is suspiciously similar to the U.S. Department of Defense.
It's an alias that's meant to deceive, and it's USD lowercase OD.
That's Democratic Congressman Richie Torres from the 15th District in the Bronx.
I'm among the millions of Americans whose Social Security number was not only hacked, but leaked onto the dark web.
To find out if you're a victim too, go to pentester.com. In the Bronx, Monica Guy, WCBS 880 News.
WCBS News Time 5:05 at Nassau Community College. Students have been eating out of vending machines since April when the on-campus dining service abruptly packed up and left. But WCBS's Long Island Bureau Chief Sophia Hall says that's going to change in 2 weeks.
It's not easy leaving campus to go get a bite to eat for students at Nassau Community College, but that's what they were forced to do after the food vendor abruptly quit in April. But now Jerry Kornbluth, Vice President of Community Affairs, says a new company will start on September 3rd, the first day of school.
The founder of the company actually was the head of food services for the Washington, D.C. public school. It is a very diverse group of students, and coming to Nassau, which is extremely diverse, that experience was a good plus for us.
And there will be many affordable menu choices.
They're going to have different menus going out all the time, different types of food, depending on what the students want.
And he says a Starbucks may also be coming soon. In Nassau County, Sophia Hall, WCBS 880 News.
Among the people taking the podium addressing the 25,000 attendees of the Democratic National Convention in Chicago tonight, Bill Clinton, Tim Walz, and Tom Suozzi. The congressman from New York's 3rd District is going to focus on immigration and border issues, especially given how the bipartisan border deal worked out by a coalition of progressive Democrats and conservative Republicans was apparently shot down on orders from Donald Trump. Those are issues that Suozzi used in his special election victory earlier this year to replace George Santos. The Democrats' 2024 immigration plank includes the line, "Securing our border in the face of Republican inaction." Suozzi is scheduled to take the stage at 6:30 our time, and you can catch it on C-SPAN. This morning, Mayor Adams issued an executive order requiring city agencies to review city-owned or city-controlled land for possible housing development. It's part of an effort to use every possible tool to come up with more affordable housing. But some housing activists aren't completely sold on it. Judith Goldiner is an attorney for the Legal Aid Society.
Although we're happy to see this proposal, it doesn't, in our view, doesn't do enough to protect people currently housed, or very marginally housed.
New York City currently has a rental vacancy rate of just 1.4%. In Connecticut, Governor Lamont has gotten what he wanted from President Biden, a federal emergency declaration in response to Sunday's flooding. This is going to allow the local agencies to coordinate with FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, on recovery efforts. 5:08 on WCBS, traffic and weather together, and traffic means Andre Farrow.
Well, thank you, Ray. Let's go to the inbound Gowanus between exits 23 and 38th Street. Over by exit 24, you have a disabled vehicle blocking the right lane, and that is not helping matters. George Washington Bridge, upper level inbound, you're looking at 30 to 35 minutes. The approaches are slow as well. We have some trouble on Route 4, heading in the westbound direction over by Bell Avenue. An accident blocking the left lane. That's been out there for quite some time as well. The outbound, George, you know the deal. The repeat offender, I like to call it, the westbound Cross Bronx, which is just always terrible. When is it ever good? Never. So why are you sitting on it then? We do have delays from White Plains Road, Castle Hill Avenue, all the way to the Alexander. Traveling around Yankee Stadium, they're going to have a Yankee game tonight. I mean, the Mets game just let out, and now the Yankees going to be playing about 2 hours from now. So you have lots of volume around Yankee Stadium heading northbound, passing the 3rd Avenue Bridge and heading up towards the stadium. It's very slow. Same deal with the northbound Harlem River Drive is going to be busy, making your way up towards the area of the McCombs Dam Bridge. West Side Highway, bumper to bumper from about 96th Street up to the George. It's still a better ride than the Harlem River Drive FDR combo. At least least 30 minutes on the inbound Holland. 139 is stacked for Jersey City. Outbound's going to be about 25 on both sides of the Lincoln. And if you're using the eastbound Grand Central Parkway, trying to head away from Citi Field, that's going to be a rough go of it. And the westbound side's even worse, from about Jewel Avenue all the way to Citi Field. And the northbound Whitestone Expressway, very busy, heading up towards the foot of the Whitestone Bridge. Andre Ferro, WCBS Traffic Center.
And I was supposed to let you talk, Craig Allen.
Okay. Well, it's still 71 degrees, and the humidity is at 40%. It's a nice, mild, but dry day. It feels so much like September out there. There still is a chance of a shower in one or two spots, especially the far northern western suburbs, back towards the Poconos and Catskills. That's where most of them are staying. But lows tonight will be about 55 to 60 in the city, 48 to 54 in many of the suburbs. Another cool night for sure. Tomorrow, sun mixing with some clouds, about 75. Thursday night will be clear, not quite as cool, and the trend over the next several days after that will be for a few more degrees. It'll keep getting a little bit warmer, daily that is, into the upcoming weekend. Friday's high, 75 to 80. So again, 71, humidity 40%. We have a west wind at 13, gusting to 23.
And does this September pattern tell us anything about long-term weather patterns at all?
No, not really, because here's the funny thing. It just tells us that there's a lot of consistency in that it always tends to cool down at some point towards the end of summer, before we start school. And don't you know it? I mean, this is like anecdotal evidence, but it always gets hot again when the kids go back to school. And that definitely is showing up. There's that big heat dome that's in the lower portions of the United States right now. We won't get under that immediately, but it will definitely be warming up later this weekend and into next week.
And eventually that high pressure is going to go out over the Atlantic Ocean and start that whole humidity cycle again.
Right. I am sure we are not done with a couple more hot, humid days.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, Craig. WCBS News Time, 5:11.
Tomorrow at 10 a.m., join us for a special audio journey. WCBS 880 News. The people, the moments, the events that shaped our lives. Wayne Cabot, Palmer Name, and Bridget Quinn host a 3-hour special with interviews, conversations, and the memorable stories that defined us. Tomorrow at 10 a.m. on WCBS 880 News.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
She posted about it just now. Celebrities can't get enough of Beyonce's soap skincare line.
She has 147 million followers. How do we monetize?
She needs a social media associate to help her with the hype.
We should repost this. Do we need a hashtag?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey everyone, Boomer here, and you may know me from my football days, but today I'm here to talk to you about something that can help you have your best summer yet. And not long ago, I was struggling with serious foot, knee, and back pain, and it really was putting a damper on my everyday life. And when summer rolled around and everyone was out and about, it got pretty tough. Then I discovered the Good Feet store, and let me tell you, it was a total game changer for me. You know, the awesome folks at the Good Feet store took the time to understand my pain and hooked me up with arch supports, and the process was super easy. And the results have been absolutely fantastic. And now I'm living my best summer pain-free. From playing golf and taking long walks on the beach to just chilling in the sun, I'm doing it all with zero discomfort. And guess what? With the Good Feet arch supports, I can even rock my favorite foot flops and still get the support I need. So if you're dealing with any kind of pain or discomfort, don't wait, folks. Visit the Good Feet store in New Jersey or New York and get ready to enjoy your best summer ever, just like I'm doing. Okay, raise your hand if you want to make your life a little bit easier. Great. Now raise your other hand if you like to be comfortable. Perfect. Now that you have both hands raised, imagine putting on your shoes. And that, folks, right there is your answer to an easier, more comfortable life. Go hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins. This is footwear you don't need your hands to put on. They can be raised in the air, and you can just step it and go. Why don't you experience what people can't stop talking about? Life-changing Skechers Slip-ins. Get your Slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Hi, I'm Miko, the founder of Miko's Hot Chicken. When we started our family restaurant, we were also raising a family. But let me tell you, it wasn't easy. Our Chase Inc. card was there to reward us on all of our business needs. Now we have a thriving location, and we're hungry for more.
Chase Inc. Business Unlimited card. You can earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase. So your business can go from here to possible. Chase for business. Make more with yours. Real business owners compensated for the participation. Cards issued by JP Morgan Chase Bank and NMFDIC, subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
For all of our contest rules on WCBS 880, visit WCBS880.com and click on the contest tab at the top of the page.
WCBS News Time 5:15. As Mpox becomes a larger and larger health threat around the world, and especially so in Africa, pharmacists in New York State have gotten the okay to administer the Mpox vaccine to adults. It's a 2-dose vaccine called Jynneos. In the Congo, which is reporting at least 22,000 suspected cases over the last year, there's a new and more dangerous version, and it's spreading toward other Central African countries such as Rwanda and Burundi. The New York State Health Department says that new variant, which is known as Clade 1, has yet to spread into the United States. Now comes the political pushback from the reports earlier this week that Governor Hochul is thinking about bringing back congestion pricing, although with a lower price point. CBS 2's Chris Raggi has more.
Get rid of congestion pricing forever. That's the message from Long Island leaders today. They're calling on Governor Hochul to permanently eliminate the plan, which she paused indefinitely back in June.
Earlier this week, you know what, the truth finally came out. It's been revealed that the governor intends to bring back the congestion pricing scheme. Let's eliminate the congestion pricing plan. Let's take down those monitors. And you know what, let's stand up for the residents and just do the right thing and find a way to save them money. Attorney representing...
Plot twist. Clavin and other Long Island leaders are still fighting the plan in federal court with a lawsuit against the MTA. It alleges the tolling system amounts to an illegal tax. Last month, state lawmakers suggested bringing back the plan, but at a lower price point.
Pushing back in the other direction, a statement from the MTA's John J. McCarthy reads, "While we appreciate random outbursts from political machine puppets, the MTA is running 40% more service on Long Island with a budget that's 3% lower than before COVID." And after the Sunday storm come the usual beach closings. Suffolk County has closed 7 of its beaches to bathing and is asking people not to go into the water at 23 more, all because of a bacteria spike following the storms earlier this week. The closed beaches are in Lindenhurst, Copeg, Bayport, and Amityville, and Rocky Point and Bayshore. And after heavy rain, there's usually a problem with increased pollution in the Hudson, sewage from an old plant in Yonkers, and WCBS's Sean Adams has been talking about that with the people at Riverkeeper.
Old sewers combine waste and storm runoff, so every time it pours, the Yonkers treatment plant is overwhelmed, and raw sewage ends up in the Hudson, millions of gallons of raw sewage. So what can be done? Hudson Riverkeeper Tracy Brown.
There's a whole host of techniques. One of them is you build retention tanks. So you have tanks at the treatment plant where the overflow gets collected, and then after the rain event passes, you pump that through the treatment plant.
The state permits the overflow. Westchester operates the plant. Yonkers has old sewers. Riverkeeper is asking all parties to come together to work toward a solution. In Westchester, Sean Adams, WCBS 880 News.
5:18, traffic and weather together. Andre.
And we're sponsored by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Let's go to New Jersey, where we do have some trouble on the westbound side of Route 80, over by exit 62. This is over in Elmwood Park. Accident blocking the left lane. That's causing a big delay. Route 4 has been tough. Over by Bell Avenue in Teaneck, there's an accident blocking the left lane as well. Plus, northbound 287 over by exit 47 over in Montville. There was a sinkhole. I don't do sinkholes, man. I'm scared of those things. But there was one there, and they had to close closed the left lane because of it, so look out for that. Also on Route 1, over by Plainfield Avenue, there's a missing manhole cover. The right lane is closed. That's been out there for quite some time as well. Over on the northbound Hutch, we have trouble by Wolf's Lane, which is that known spot for slowdowns. As you travel northbound, have an accident blocking the right lanes. That's causing some big delays. And the northbound New England Thruway, this is over by Mamaroneck Avenue. There's a debris spill there blocking the lane. Also, eastbound 287 coming off the Tappan Zee Bridge, Mario Cuomo, Tappan Zee. You have the exit 9 Hutchinson River Parkway ramp, the roving repairs there blocking the right lane as well. If you're trying to use the northbound Whitestone Expressway, that's bumper to bumper leaving City Field still as you make your way up towards the foot of the Whitestone Bridge. But the Throgsneck's going to be super slow entering Queens, and then just stick with the clear view over the southbound Cross Island parking lot. Andre Ferro, WCBS Traffic Center.
And now here's Mr. Low Humidity himself, Craig Allen.
And liking it too because the dew point is in the 40s. That is as much September as anything you could expect in the latter portion of August. It's just terrific outside and how it feels. There are a few isolated, spotty showers out well to the northwest, over more so towards the Poconos, Catskills. That's about all that's really showing up on radar, and it'll clear out after sunset. Lows 55 to 60 and 48 to 54 in many suburbs, so another cool night. Tomorrow, sun mixing with some clouds, about 75. Thursday night will be clear, not quite as cool. Friday, mainly sunny, turning warmer, 75 to 80. Saturday, 80 to 85, and that humidity will be going up over the weekend. You'll feel it more so on Sunday. Highs will be in the middle 80s. Right now, though, 71, humidity 40%, and a westerly wind at 13.
Okay, Craig, 521 on WCBS.
Looking for solutions? The accountants and advisors at Eisner Amper help clients transform their companies, build capital, innovate processes, and connect with the resources you need to succeed. Let Eisner Amper be part of your solution. Learn more at EisnerAmper.com. That's EisnerAmper.com.
Get your laugh on with me, Chris Jericho, and the Talk is Jericho podcast. We've got Guns N' Roses Hall of Famer Duff McKagan and his joke of the week every Friday, plus regular visits from the hilarious Brad Williams and special appearances by everyone from Gabrielle Fluffy Iglesias, Mark Maron, Dennis Miller, Chiefs Maron, Kevin Nealon. If they're funny, they're on Talk is Jericho. So listen to and follow Talk is Jericho now on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello, person listening to the radio. I'm going to tell you about my new Harry's razor while I shave. You hear that? I've got a face full of stubble. It's basically silent. It's giving me an incredibly smooth, comfortable, and close shave. Every Harry's razor has 5 sharp German-engineered blades and a lubricating strip with aloe for extra comfort. And check out this handsome orange handle. Oh, wait, forgot you can't see it. Guess we just have to imagine it. And the best part is, Harry's blade refills are as little as $2 each, which is a fraction of the price of other leading 5-blade razors. Not going to mention any names. And done.
Get a Harry starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover. All for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com/simple. That's harrys.com/simple.
Coming up on 523 on WCBS, it's something that we're going to have to expect from now to November and maybe beyond. AI-generated political fakes. In this case, after AI-generated robocalls that impersonated the voice of President Biden. CBS's Linda Kenyon has that story.
The FCC has fined Lingo Telecom $1 million for distributing deepfake robocalls ahead of the New Hampshire Democratic primary. The calls told voters not to vote in January's primary and were devised by political consultant Steve Kramer. He has been fined $6 million and faces criminal charges. Kramer was employed at the time by Representative Dean Phillips, who briefly challenged President Biden during the primary season. But Phillips says no one on his campaign either directed or was aware of Kramer's actions. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, Washington.
And a former babysitter has pleaded guilty to manslaughter for the 2019 death of a man that she brutally harmed in 1984 when he was a baby.
CBS's Michael Toscano has more on this.
Benjamin Dowling died at age 35 after a life of severe disabilities caused by brain injuries he suffered at 5 months. Violently shaken, Fort Lauderdale, Florida prosecutors say, by his now 62-year-old babysitter Terry McCurchie. McCurchie pleaded no contest then and served a light weekends-only sentence, but was indicted for first-degree murder 3 years ago. This after an autopsy concluded Dowling died from his decades-old injuries. Michael Toscano, CBS News.
Nearly two-thirds of baby food products sold in U.S. grocery stores are unhealthy. So say researchers in Australia at the George Institute for Global Health. They looked at about 650 infant and toddler food products as sold in the top 10 biggest U.S. grocery chains and found that 70% of them failed to meet World Health Organization protein requirements, and nearly half exceeded total sugar recommendations. Also, 20% of them exceeded recommended.
For having the trust in us to say goodbye as we have been.
And one last time, we're going to let this play in the clear as we say, see you next time.
When you need to know why, when it matters most. This is WCBS 880 News.
Everybody, on three, we're going to give the legal ID. 1, 2...